George H.W. Bush, the 41st president, has come out firing at some of the men who led the country into the war in Iraq while serving in his son's administration. Here's Nancy Cordes.
He has held his tongue for more than a decade. But now George H.W. Bush describes his son's vice president, Dick Cheney, as too hardline and calls his Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, arrogant. In candid interviews, the elder Bush told biographer John Meacham that Cheney became very different from the Dick Cheney I knew and worked with when Cheney served as his Secretary of Defense.
I've had much worse said about me.
Cheney laughed off the criticism on Fox. But the first President Bush was even more scathing about Rumsfeld. "I don't like what he did, and I think it hurt the president." In a statement, the 83-year-old Rumsfeld lashed back at his 91-year-old critic. Bush 41 is getting up in years and misjudges Bush 43, who I found made his own decisions. Cheney and Rumsfeld were two of the biggest proponents of the war in Iraq, a war that marred one son's presidency and hasn't helped another son who now wants the job.
My brother's a big boy.
In New Hampshire today, Jeb Bush defended his brother's vice president against his father's broadsides.
As it relates to Dick Cheney, he served my brother well as vice president, and he served my dad extraordinarily well as Secretary of Defense.
And in a statement, George W. Bush called Cheney superb and Rumsfeld effective. A rare public disagreement between father and sons. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Washington.